right, my friends, take a look up here.
Be a good neighbor, stay conversation.
Are you guys being nice to Mr. Craig?
Of course. Oh yeah. He's not his old fast food.
All right, my friends, here we go. Time to stop that. Determine and interpret. Y equals, I saw around the room, negative 1.07x plus. 42.26. Now let's interpret. Quiet, please. This is the hard part, and some of you need to add this. It's not on there. You go to the y-intercept as a starting amount. So starting at 42, I'm just going to abbreviate now. And again, that's a y-intercept, and we said y was the antibiotic. So we need to tell them 42 what? Is it school buses? Is it basketballs? It's milligrams. Starting at 42 milligrams, the antibiotic. Then you start looking at how it's changing. So this is the starting place, and this is the rate of change. It's a negative memo, so what is it doing? Increasing or decreasing? Decreases by, it's negative 1.07. I'm going to say 1, and again, that's milligrams per. The per is where the x comes in. Okay, so every time you go up by 1x, you're going to get a decrease, but what is the x measuring? Time in hours. 1 milligram per hour decrease. That's what negative 1.07x means in this situation. So to interpret, start with the y-intercept. Think about the situation. That's milligrams of antibiotic. Then you talk about how that's changing, and that's when you're looking at the slope. R value, what do we have for an R?
88.88.
Not just 0.88, something else is important. Negative. Determine and interpret, it says interpret, so this is a moderately strong, what do you want to call it? Still strong, it's strongish.
Yeah.
Strong, negative.
It's strong like some
association. If you don't have that written down, write it down right now. We will be having tests starting tomorrow, and the interpret stuff is the divider between the A's and the B's in a lot of these tests. So you're getting all the points that you can. Does it seem appropriate to use a line of best fit? Yes. Our R value is close to -1. Okay, when it's close to -1, we can use the line of best fit. Sketch the plot. I saw your plots. I don't load stuff into my calculator, but they kind of do this. That's what I'm seeing. Look at your graph. Do you still agree with your answer to part C?
Yes.
He says yes. Anybody else disagree? Your answer to part C is, does this look like a line? And we said yes based on the R. Does that look like a line?
Oh, it's curvy.
Well, now it looks like a curve. So when we're doing these linear regression equations, they're based on the data we have. But one thing we talked about back last week is sometimes when you think ahead or behind, maybe the pattern doesn't exactly fit in the long run. So this may or may not be a good thing to use a line for. Maybe a curve would be better. All right. Questions?
Nope.
Okay. I want to show you something that has to do with your stats project. You may want to pull out your Chromebook and go to Google Classroom.
That's why I practiced today.
Practice is helpful. Okay, a lot of you are doing a good job getting going on your first question. I asked you to have a topic picked and have your first question where you and your partner have gone ahead and asked people that question by Friday. Okay, so you should have the question written down, and this question is designed to be answered in a number. Okay, nice. A lot of you were close yesterday. Eventually, what you're going to do with that stats project is analyze your data. And so what I've given you here in Google Classroom is a template for a presentation. When you click on it, it creates in your Google Drive of your Stu.Shoreline account a copy for you. So you can type on this now, but you can also you can create your own with different backgrounds and things that you like the looks of better. But you could type on this one right now, and it will be different for each of you. Eventually, you and your partner are going to make one of these presentations, and so you should make a presentation that you share together and can be both looking at. You'll start with a slide showing the overall topic of your survey and the names of the people in your group. Next slide will be an introduction where you talk about why you guys chose this topic, what was interesting to you. And maybe put in some pictures. Okay, you're obviously not going to put cell phones unless yours was about cell phones. But you saw some examples of some of the other stats project, didn't you? Did I show you them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Then question 1 is where you're at right now. The first thing that you'll do for question 1 is have a slide where you tell them what the question is and show them the answers. You can put those answers as a list. You can put them into some sort of a table, but it's raw data, and it doesn't have to be in any kind of order. This shows 2 questions. I did an example on the prom stuff. Miss Morell did one on dogs. I got to find the dog one. You'll like seeing her dog project. But question 1, tell them what your question is. Tell them what your answers are. The next thing you're going to do with the question 1 data is a box and whisker plot. There are programs online where if you Google box and whisker, you can just load in your numbers and it'll make one for you. That's how I made this one that's up here on the board. You guys know how to do it on this calculator. You can do it on the calculator, take a picture or a screen, picture with your Chromebook or with your phone and insert it as an image. So you're going to need in your slideshow a box and whisker created with your data. You could, if you are a nice drawer and want to do it by hand on a piece of paper, then take a picture to get it onto your thing, whatever. There's tools out there, but you're going to make a box and whisker with your data. The other thing that you're going to make with the data for this, no, that's the wrong one. Here we go. I'm trying to make it bigger. Oh, I know what. Let's do present. There we go. You're also, with your question 1 data, Gotta make a histogram. The best way, the easiest way to make a histogram is to load your data into Google Sheets. That's a spreadsheet program, and once you get to that, I can show you how. But you just make a nice long list in a column of Google Sheets, highlight it, and then Google Sheets lets you do different kinds of charts. And histograms is one of the charts. Every time you make a chart, there are features that let you customize. So you should have labeled axes, number of students, number of proms. You should have a title, okay, up across the top, all right? Box and whisker and a histogram are two of the things that you're going to do with question 1 data, and eventually all of that stuff is going to get loaded into a presentation that you and your partner work collaboratively on. Questions? All right, yes?
What's the class code?
Okay, you weren't here the day. So I know a lot of people are already on. I showed you something a different day on it. Let me find class code. Class code F75 W5B. Okay. All right. Yep. So I also I put for a date on this March 25th. That's the day before spring break. I haven't talked to Miss Morell on how quickly she wants to move this along, but I can see us. We're right now in the middle of February, so that gives us like a month and a half. We're going to work on different questions, different parts as we learn the new stuff. Yes.
How long is spring break?
1 week. Yes.
That's in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
March 26th. Do I forgot to ask.
It's about 6 weeks, bro. And we're okay. Good. So right now, what I'm going to do is you have time to start work on this week's homework packet. Time to get with your partner, look at what's going on with stats project. Time to think about making a presentation or figuring out how to make a box and whisker. You have, well, a little bit of time. Questions?
We're gonna get up and present this, right?
Yes. And last year we did a presentation where all the math ones were together. So my class and Miss Morell's class presenting as a group.
Let's do that a lot more.
We just have it as our class because we're
Don't worry, don't
We
worry.
don't pay attention to the other ones.
That's all right. Okay, so books need to go away. Calculators you can keep until the end of the class. You're going to work on anybody else with last week's homework packet? And a couple people were finishing that.
Mr. Grady,
What? Panthers.
Yeah, dude. Today is like the end of the green period.
No, Friday is when we're submitting progress reports. So that's actually when you can't get yours up, but it's still in some classes you can for your family. It's not a super high grade. It's a progress report. Thank you. Okay, it is not having back that time. It was okay putting books away, but you have time to work on homework packet or be talking to your partner about stats project, learning how to make a box and whisker.
Finish the homework?
Yo no puedo mirar porque no lo pero no, ya lo tengo.
¿Yo? Cálmate, te estarás conmigo, güey.
Andy asked me.
So this one you should share with him, and then you both can work on it at the same time. Find the dog.
Hey, I know what.
I like the dog.
We're doing one on tits.
That's good. How many pictures?
Put on the school bag.